Night begins like a thin thread pulled across a ceiling. September 4th, 2025. 10:17 p.m. Outskirts of Lazova, Kharkiv Oblast. After a new round of strikes on the grid, 40,000 people sit in the dark. The field hospital runs on gasoline and guesses. Emergency lights blink like someone holding their breath. Trains slow, circuits stutter. Everything moves half a beat off time. We are not here to argue who did what. Not tonight. The only question is where the air still moves. In a corridor that smells like antiseptic and cardamom cooling in a paper cup, Mira tightens the chest strap on Barq, a canine whose eyes catch police red-blue like two thin panes of glass. History has words for nights like this. Barq doesn't. He carries only short commands and scent lines. Dry milk on a child's collar, plastic warmed by a switch, raw steel, and one smell Mira trusts above all. Breath, still looking for a way out. Hands only, she tells him. No pull. No bark. Just guide. Dr. Salim slides past, stethoscope swinging, voice steady as a note. East Ox just took rounds. Hold the West Wing. We've got people trapped. Hamed, radio crooked, dust on his sleeves, unlatches the side gate and points to chalk on a wall. Air duct runs this line. Back stair has a gap. The word gap is a key. Barq lowers his tail, puts his nose on the floor, and reads a map only he can see. The open court looks the color of broken ash. Wind passes through without stopping. Mira walks half a step behind Barq, leash so loose it's almost not there, as if his eyes are holding her. Every time a gurney wheel crunches grit, it slices the air and vanishes. Far off, somebody's lights strobe. Nobody asks which direction they came from. The live questions are shorter. Which corridor still connects? Which pocket of space can still fit a chest opening? A green marble, smaller than a fingernail, rolls down a chipped step and stops in a circle of dust, a tiny island. Barq touches it with his chin. Faint baby skin, chalk dust in a cheap ridge of plastic. Toys keep secrets if you kneel close enough. One small object redraws the path. Metal groans somewhere above, and then a hiss, not panic loud, steady small. An oxygen cylinder with a cracked valve, breathing wrong in a dark pocket. It's quiet enough to fool you, loud enough to tell Mira pressure matters. A dropped concrete beam blocks the narrow run. The opening measures 7 centimeters. It's a polite refusal. 4 pumps, 5, Mira says. Hamed slides in a hand pump bladder. The wall copies the wind. Metal asks metal for space. The hiss keeps time. Hold the beam, Mira says into the radio, voice level as a drawn line. At 11 centimeters, Barq flattens, shoulders tilt, paws feel for new ground. If a camera were here, it would only see dusty guard hairs and 2 green flecks. Mira sees an arrow with fur, pointing into the dark. Inside is the shape things make when they collapse, believing they were solid. The milk smell sharpens. A thin blanket's stale fabric taps the cardamom off a handkerchief snagged on a nail. A child, Yusuf, 6, lies in the powder. The cold from the slab climbs through his shirt. His eyes are open because open and closed are the same in this dark. He doesn't cry loud. Loud takes air he isn't sure he owns. He makes the soft sounds of cotton in a nose. Barq lays his jaw on the child's wrist and breathes evenly. A monitor with no screen. 2 short throat rumbles, alive. "Can you hear me?" Mira's voice is the size of the room, small. "I'm Mira. This is Barq. He won't leave you." "Mom?" The word arrives like somebody learning how to say it again. "Watch Barq's nose, okay? In for 4, out for 4. She doesn't say it's going to be okay, not here. She says what can be counted. A bent steel hoop hugs his ankle like it means to give him back to the dark. Mira feels for the pressure point, 4 centimeters above the ankle, where old corrosion thins the bite. Lift 2 centimeters. Hold. Gauge creeps 0.7 to 1.1 bar. The air makes zipper sounds through a damaged tooth of metal. Do not blink. Second collapses, don't shout. Overhead, concrete draws a pencil line of dust. The oxygen hiss clicks 1 notch louder, as if someone changed their mind. 5 seconds open. Long as a tunnel, short as a blink. She can hold the lever for more space. Wedge a shim where the new crack runs. Move Barq's body to shield Yusuf's face. Shim, she tells herself, and her free hand slides wood into the right fault inside a single breath. On my pull, draw your leg to me. A small nod, a boat on a wave. Pull. Everything in the room joins one tiny click. The hoop lets go. Barq backs half a body, checks the way out, leaves 2 short claw marks in the dust. Parallel lines you don't step on. The return road is always longer. You carry what you just got back, and what you left behind now that you can see it. The slit fits 1 dog at a time. Barq slips first, stops every few yards, listens to the ceiling, moves again. His tail blinks like a cursor. "Hold the beam!" Hamed's voice is not loud but straight, a lever built from syllables. "Back, Barq," Mira says, and without a leash, he slides exactly half a body, so she can thread through with the child pressed to her chest. Outside, light is not warm and not cold. It's just what lets people see each other. Red-blue stripes across Yusuf's face. He blinks because it isn't dark anymore. Dr. Salim waits with a clean blanket and a stethoscope. The soft beep loses its echo and becomes rhythm. Machine breath and human breath bump shoulders, then find separate lanes. "Regular again," the doctor says. Not victory. A line in a chart. White bandage around a dusty ankle looks like a flag with no wind. Yusuf touches Barq's nose. The dog closes half an eye and stands still, like a rock that breathes. A handkerchief that smells of cardamom falls between Mira and a woman waiting in the yard, fingers still dusted with bandage powder. Barq noses the cloth and looks up. Small things keep leading, even when there's nowhere left to go. The woman doesn't rush. She waits for Mira's nod, then lays her hand on the child's hair. She doesn't pull him toward her. She lets her palm rest like a surface on water to learn if the water is still there. Mira refastens Barq's chest clip and brushes dust from his coat the way you'd smooth a flag before a ceremony. Except there's no ceremony, only pieces of time knotted back together by steady breathing. "East wall still cracks," Hamed says, eyes on a surface that knows how to shake itself. "There may be more." Mira doesn't say let's go. She goes, and Barq rises without a word. If your heart speeds up at minute 17, that's normal. It's life, remembering the route home. Stories about breath don't end when one breath comes back. They continue in the breaths that must be carried further. Mira's, Hamed's, Dr. Salim's, the patients waiting for morning, and Barq's, who learned one new line of scent tonight. Something once stuck, now moving on its own. Some moments stick because they're not big. A green marble beside a dusty shoe. 2 short claw lines the width of a child's step. An oxygen hiss that fades as pressure evens out, giving back the imperfect silence we started with. A small hand finding a wet nose to hold. Put them together, and you draw a thin line from dark to light. Narrators can bring adjectives. The line doesn't need many. It needs a person, a dog, and one decision in 5 seconds. Mira learned not to promise what you can't measure. She doesn't promise peace. She doesn't promise morning. She promises only this. Her breathing won't tangle anyone else's. A trainer once balanced a coin on her hand and walked her through a loud room. If the coin fell, start again. Someday, he said, it won't be a coin. Tonight, in a crack that talks and a room that whispers, she knows the coin is still there. Somewhere between pulse and breath, between stay and a silent nod. Barq learned not to compete for the room. He doesn't bark when he finds you. He doesn't pull when the line tightens. He lies sideways and lets his breath spill wide enough for a child to borrow. People taught him the difference between the living and the gone, with shirts worn all day and blankets left on empty chairs. Some call that cruel. Barq doesn't know those words. He knows there are 2 silences at night, and he was born to lead us from one into the other, if there's time. Tonight, there was. Hamed learned that some things hands lift by direction, not force. He paints small X's on the floor, not to claim anything, but so tomorrow nobody steps on hollow ground. He says, hold the beam, not because his voice is strong, but because some sentences need to be said to become true. Dr. Salim learned some heartbeats you hear with your eyes. He watches a small chest rise. He lets words stop at notes. There are no fireworks here, no stage, just people who know exactly where to stand in a room and stand there. A message from the coordination desk. Power is restoring by zone. Further attacks on infrastructure possible. Cold text. True enough not to need exclamation points. This story sits next to it. No rebuttal, no defense, just a record of breaths that found their path. If you're watching this somewhere quiet, try it now. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 4. Somewhere else, someone is doing the same, guided by a creature that cannot speak, but always points. You don't need every street name, just the one that walks your breath out of a dark room. There are 2 versions of silence at night. One swallows, the other gives the air back. Tonight, in a dusty place, we found the second one.